All right, it's not letting me change orientation today. It kind of just does whatever it wants to do. One week I can change it, the next week I can't. Oh well, if I can't fix it, then I'll just stop it and start over. Hello, Jeremy. Casey. Trying to change the orientation on this. It's kind of being dumb. Last week in the live, I could flip the orientation. This week, it will let me change the camera angle, like front or back, microphone setting, a filter, because we don't need that. And then highlight, nope, don't care about highlight. Hello, Rick. Well, YouTube has done it again. They've taken away the orientation setting. Usually you can change the orientation when you're setting up the live. It wasn't there. And then I go to make a live video, and last week I could change it right up here on the screen. And this week it's gone. So I apologize now for the wrong orientation. I don't like doing it the TikTok style. Kind of a pain. So I know YouTube's not listening because it's a computer, but YouTube, bring back the change to orient the video this way or that way. Like forever we could change it. Then they took it away for the longest time because of TikTok. And then they changed it back. And as of last week, it worked. As of this week, not working. Anyway, Rick, thanks for liking the Harvester of Sorrow. I was shocked, honestly, because I'm trying to only do one video for each vehicle, but I felt like I left everybody hanging. Hey, Hunter. Felt like I left everybody hanging with the Harvester of Sorrow because I packed so much into that first video that I wasn't able to finish it. I wasn't able to finish the radiator and the harmonic balancer and everything else. And then when I did finish it, I discovered a whole slew of problems that I had to tear all apart. And you guys saw that. Changing the water pump 3 times. I flushed it like 5 or 6 times. You didn't have to see all that, but it was a lot. I ended up having the radiator cap, it wasn't fully tightened on. Like usually when you push a radiator cap on, you give it a click and then you give it a second click and it's on. Well, this aluminum radiator, I'm going to say it's not Chinese, but it likely is Chinese. When I went to click it on, I felt like I gave it the 2 clicks. Well, I start to run the system and make sure it's, I burped it to make sure all the air was out, and then running the system to warm it up and give thermostat to open and all that. And in the process, the cap shot up and it immediately shot everything out of the radiator onto the hood, to which I was then standing there, and I turned just in time to get 250 degrees all over my back. And no, the cameras weren't running, but let me tell you, it sucked. Thankfully, I had the garden hose in my hand and was able to spray myself down real quick, but still left some pretty big old blotches on me. Let's see. Keep it as stock as you can, as cheap as you can. Well, what I can, Rick. That truck has, it basically got sold to me as cheap as possible because the guy really wanted the engine. That's all he wanted it for. And he was basically selling it to me for the price of the engine and transmission. But there was a lot of good still left in that truck. It was just all of the add-ons and the wiring and the horrible welding and just everything bad with that truck is easily reversed. You just have to cut it out or remove it and then replace it with what's supposed to be there. Hey, Dr. Art's here. Tim Windsor's here. Oh, I missed part of this one. Rick says it is Chinese. Oh, good. You saw it. I didn't. I'll be honest. I took it out of the box. You guys saw the box. I probably should have looked at the video to figure it out because the box is gone, I think. But I moved on to this one, which you guys seemed like that video too. And I've got a Buick sitting outside, 1955 Buick Century Super with a supposedly rebuilt V8, but it hasn't been ran in a couple decades. Hey, Gunther Von B. Edmonton, Canada. Yeah. Been there several times. Hey, thanks, Rick. I sure do appreciate that. I don't even know what to say other than thank you. That's awesome. I bet it's chilly up there in Canada. I'm enjoying 80 degrees here at the lake. Now, it wasn't that warm this morning. I came into the shop and it was relatively comfortable, but just a little chilly, so I had to bring my hoodie. And then I started working up a sweat, putting this wall together. So part of my rent for this shop is turning half of the shop into an apartment. So I have been building a wall, as you can see, and it goes all the way up. Not quite fully enclosed yet, but we're getting close. And then insulating it. And then on this side, we wanted it to kind of look like a shop. And then the other side will be all nice and fancy house-like. But I took some of my, like, this is my dad's big fan from his shop. When he passed away, nobody really wanted it because it was so massive. So I took it. This is a garage sale find. Old Roadmaster wagon. I decided to just hang her up instead of letting it rust and rot. Ooh, 79 degrees, east coast of Florida. That ain't bad. That's about what we got here at the lake today. I'm gonna have to throw it in a video soon because these guys want the video out sooner rather than later. But I'm trying to think. The company is called Hyperlight. It's one of those with a spoon falling down the stairs companies. And they originally, I told them we were wanting to upgrade the fluorescence in here because the whole thing had fluorescence one end to the other. And they have worked with me before, and I told them, hey, I'd like to just see what it would cost to get some lights. You guys sponsored lights before. What would you like to do? And they said, well, we're not interested in sponsoring with you right now. I was like, okay, that's fine. And then they came back a day later and said, we will sponsor you 4 lights, but you need to have 6 or even 8 lights for this whole place. Well, I tried to explain to them the building size is what it is, but we cut it in half, so I only need half a shop. They didn't seem to understand the translation. So then I told them, well, the shop is only this big. Again, didn't seem to understand the translation. So they wanted me to pay like $800 and some, but then they were going to give me double the lights. And then they came back. Probably, I told them, no, I'm not interested. I don't want to pay almost $1,000 for lights. So instead, I went and I gutted the, like this one right here is a fluorescent, And this one was a fluorescent, but I gutted it, took the ballast out, rewired it, and those are LEDs. And I got them fairly cheap off the old Jungle website. And it works good. I'm not unhappy with it right now. I don't have that buzzing of the ballast in the background. So that's what I did. Well then, I don't know, 3 or 4 days later, they hit me up and said, we're gonna go ahead and sponsor you with a different light. It's the exact same light as I have in the other shop, but it's a different name and a different brand, whatever. So they sent me $2,000 worth of lights. They were supposed to send me 4, they sent me 8. And these are really nice. And they should be super bright. And then what else? Oh, Temu hit me up. They wanted, Dalton did one of those Temu things. He said he didn't really care for it. They were supposed to pay him as well as give him the merch. They didn't do that. They never paid him according to what he told me. And I wasn't interested, but they kept hitting me up on Instagram over and over and over. And I finally just said, what is it? This is what they want to do. I signed the deal saying, okay, let's do it. I picked out $150 worth of stuff like they asked me to do. And they said, well, we'll let you know when it ships, but we need it by November. And I went, it's coming from China. There's no way it's going to make it from there to here before November. And then they wanted me to shoot a video and then send it to them and then get approved and then go out. And I'm probably just going to do a live like this and unbox everything and let you guys see what Temu sent me. If it ever shows up. And if it doesn't, away. Rick says, run away from Temu. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. Hey, Big Mike in the Iowa. Mech 7.3. It is awesome. Like, I didn't like the runaround. I get that they probably get hit up a lot for lights, and I wasn't trying to, but they'd sponsored before, so I thought, I'll just see what kind of discounts I can get. And they were basically saying, well, half price. Well, I only needed half the lights that they were offering, so I said, well, I'll only take half. I was fine paying for 2, and then they send me 2, but they just wouldn't do it. It had to be the full 8, and I said, well, I don't need 8. I only need 4. Long story short, I have 8 lights here. I don't know. If we don't use them all, we probably will, but if we don't use them all, maybe somebody out there needs some lights and maybe I can help make that happen. Oh, I was going to show you guys something else. You guys always hear me using the NOCO Boost, right? Well, this is the 1000 amp version. I have a few of these. When I went full-time YouTube, I thought I better stock up. So they come in a really nice box, like really fancy. Anyway, I think I got 2 or 3 of these. And I think at some point I'm going to probably just give one away. So if you think that's a good giveaway, let me know. I'll put something together and we'll give one away. Maybe participate on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and I don't know. We'll do a contest of some sort, but not a you have to pay to play contest. I don't like those. It'll be, hey, participate contest. Don't have to send me money. All right, I missed one. Yep. Big Mike, what is your dream truck? Oh, geez. Well, forever it's been a square body crew cab dually, but the prices have went up on those. So for what I paid about $1,000 for the Harvester of Sorrow dually, and it's an extended cab and it's an OBS, not a square body. The next cheapest dually I found that was reasonable and a square body and had a title was $5,000. So there's a $4,000 gap. Everything you've seen me do to the truck, I'm barely into it $2,000, let alone $5,000. So my dream truck is a crew cab dually square body, 2-wheel drive. That's what I've always wanted. But I'm kind of glad I didn't do it because I would have done the typical, what everybody else has done, is I would have lowered it, trying to keep it still able to tow, Well, on 22s, that's what I would have done. And I'm glad I didn't. I love this truck. I love the height of this truck. It's good just the way it is. I want to paint it. I'd love it to be a really pretty truck. The interior's good, and I don't want to mess with it. I just want to make it clean, put a cup holder in there. But the outside could use some love. And I think that if there is a part 3, which I'm sure there will be because I've done a lot of stuff to it since that last video, it'll probably include paint and body. Mech73 says he'll take one. Chris Brown says hello. Big Mike says 85 Suburban 3/4 ton. I have a 94, which is the OBS Suburban 3/4 ton, 2-wheel drive. Rick's got a Cat Eye 2500. That's cool. I got a Cat Eye Avalanche. You don't see a lot of Cat Eye Avalanches. Mech73. Would I consider anything diesel? A, does it run to where I don't have to do a lot to it? Did I say A? Okay. B, is it cheap? So both of those things are probably not possible together. If it runs good, it ain't gonna be cheap. And you know, that's just how it goes. I don't know a lot about diesels. I would love to fully dive right in and probably snap my neck when I hit the bottom, but I would do it. I would do a diesel. It's coming. It will happen. I don't want to come and swap anything only because everyone else has done it. So it's kind of lost its luster. It is a great engine platform. I would love to do it, but let's let it die down a little bit. Everything I've ever owned, whether it's the 63 Pontiac, it's the 55 Buick, it's the Harvester, or not Harvester, the International, Travelall, everyone, when they see it, says, are you going to put a diesel in it? And the answer is no. I mean, this has 392. I am not doing anything to that 392. It's got a thermoquad that, I'm sorry, I'm not a thermoquad lover. It's an amazing carb. That thing has sat for decades. And all I did was shoot a little bit of starting fluid down it and put gas to it, and it ran. It's awesome. Old 71 K20 was junk. Well, I mean, I have a 76 old rusty Ricardo. He's a fine truck. He's just really rusty. And LMC Truck sponsored me some parts for it, so he will be coming back to the channel to at least get a refresh. But I need to get my welder here. Out of all of this crap behind us, I guess you guys don't see it. There's no welder. And I've got to run 220. So I have space to run 220. I just have to get it over on this side because the fuse panel's over there. So we're gonna run 220. It used to have it when the guy bought the shop and the previous owner took it out. Really? You took it out? You're that cheap. You had to take the 220. I mean, it's expensive, but you had to take it. Anyway, I'll rerun it. Okay, so what color am I gonna paint the truck? So the truck is like a, I don't know what it's called. It's not a tan and it's not a gold. It's like a something in between. And then the middle is that metallic brown. And I've always called it root beer brown, but what I'm being told by the Chevy guys is that's not what it is. So the truck's interesting. So the interior is a two-tone interior that you almost never see in an OBS. And it's because it was the GMC Sierra. So it had a brown, like a brown, and then almost an orangish tan surround around the dash. And the doors were the same, but the doors, the sun's hit it and they faded. But very interesting color combo. I really like it. It's not something you see very often. And so they tried to tie that together. When you see the two-tone, you've got the tan on top, tan on bottom, and the brown in the middle. And then along the top of that, those two colors, there's a separating stripe, and it's a two-band stripe, and it's orange. Out of nowhere, there's orange. Well, it makes no sense unless you're in the truck and you see that kind of orangish tan on the dash, and then it combines. So then when I accidentally bought these bolts for the mirrors on the side, they're at like a bright copper orangish color. I really like that. So I came home and I started going through my paint cabinet. Well, I ought to show you that here in a minute. And lo and behold, there was some copper, and that was close enough. So then I painted the wheels copper color. And Lugnut guys at lugnutguys.com, they sent me dually simulators, which I have around here somewhere. And I went halfway and I took the center caps and just put the chrome center caps on there. So it's got the copper wheels, chrome center caps. To repaint it, I'm going to go the same colors, but I'm going to put a spin on it. Some of the hot rod colors, they have a metallic root beer that's really pretty. I'm talking not quite big flake, but a lot of flake. And so I'm thinking that root beer will get just a little darker and a lot more metallic. And then the tannish color, the gold tan, same treatment. And there's a couple of 40s hot rods out there that I've seen at the shows, and they use that same color combination. Lots of metallic, and they are gorgeous. Rick, ATV. So I live on the lake. It used to be a golf cart community, and to a point it still is. But golf carts are $3-4 grand if you have to go buy one. You don't do what I did, which I brought home one the other day. We paid like $400 for it. It runs. It just needs some, sprucing up. Other people pay $3-4 grand for these golf carts. Well, they're nice and quiet. Well, these party boys get down here in their $500,000 mansions that sit right on the lake. This place sits, let's say, a block away from the lake. So we're across the tracks, so to speak. And then those lake fronts are over there. Well, those guys have to buy a $40,000 side-by-side just to drive around the lake. That's all they use them for. Do you know how many international travel-alls I could buy for $40,000? I could buy 40 of them. So would you rather drive a travel-all around or a $40,000 side-by-side with a big boom stereo and lights all over it and, 18-inch rims, and that's what you're hearing in the background. Hello, XC boy. All right, Gunther Von B. Yeah, I don't know why Thermoquad gets a bad rap. I didn't have a lot of experience with them. I absolutely love them now. Thermoquad guy. I would put it on anything. All right, we talked about paint. Supercharger, Big Mike. Well, so by accident, I made a comment on David Freiberger's Instagram. And out of nowhere, the company that sponsored his, which they don't fully sponsor even David Freiberger. He has to pay for some of this stuff. Some of it's free, but not everybody gets everything free. Hey, it's Inevitable Jim. I'm going to interrupt the supercharger for just a minute. Right there, Inevitable Jim's in the chat. Guys, if you've watched Pole Barn Garage, he's been a part of that channel here recently. He sold me the van that became the A-Team van. He started his own channel. He's on Facebook. He's on YouTube. Go out there, give him a sub. That's the Inevitable Jim. All right, finish the supercharger talk. They sent me a message that said, hey, give us a call, we'll talk. I don't know if that means a half-price supercharger or if that means a full-price supercharger or 10% off. I don't know what that means. But it's a supercharger. So I'm just going to say this now. I've got a whole bunch of these blue hats. I've also got the gray and the black. I've got the, what do you call the ones that one size fits all? I've got those. And then, of course, these trucker hats with the snapback. I've got this in blue. I've got, just go to the website. You'll see them. If you buy a hat, you buy a shirt, I'll throw in a sticker. Help me buy a supercharger, because then you guys get to watch me have fun. And then when I go to events or I go traveling cross country, you guys can come out and see me and we can all play with a supercharger. I'll give away free rides. But what do I put it in? I don't know. I kind of love the 454. I don't want to kill it. Um, Aces, what are they called? Aces Fuel Injection has been talking to me about putting their fuel injection on something. And it's basically like the Holly Sniper, but it's Aces. And I've definitely been interested. So we may be playing around with something along those lines. Rick, I love the seats in the dually as well. One of my favorite parts of that truck. It's very comfortable to drive long, for a long distance. I do like the seats in my '05 truck. They are a lot more cushy, but the way the seats are shaped in the dually, it hits me, my back and everything right in the right spot. So very comfortable. Mech 73, yes, absolutely. Anytime that you and I are both available, we will meet in a place and play diesels. I will bring my good cleaning wipes so that I don't smell like diesel when I go home. Rick has golf cart snobs, yeah. So here's the thing with the golf carts, I don't care if you jack those up and put big wheels on them, stereos, lights, whatever, because they're quiet. It's the side by sides. I don't understand. Why would you spend 20, 40, 50 grand on these things? Everybody giving Jim some love? All right, guys. Now, if you have your own YouTube channel, you know what starting out is like. It's hard. I'm only at 50,000 subs. I took a risk and decided this is what I want to do full time. It wasn't a smart idea, but the money will come eventually, and if not, we'll just sell some vehicles and keep it going. But go out there, support Inevitable Jim. Hey, Mud Farmer, thank you very much. Guys, go out and give him a sub. If anybody else in here has a channel, feel free to let people know in the chat, and they can go check you out. But it's hard making videos. It is not easy because let's say you're changing a water pump on a Chevy small block. That should not take very long. I don't know your mechanical ability, but I know mine. And within an hour, taking my time, I could easily pop one out, pop a new one in, back on the road. Now you're going to video it. So you're going to be setting up the camera, talking about what you're doing, taking stuff apart, trying to capture the certain things that led up to why you're changing the water pump, but then also doing the water pump. And then afterwards, you got to make sure it works and doesn't leak, and you're going to talk to the people on the camera. You're going to get all of this on video, and at the end of the day, you hope not only did you capture plenty of video, but you also got the water pump right, and then you go home and edit. So whether you use your phone, you use software, whatever, you turn a 1 hour job into a full day. So go give Jim some love. Let's see. Big Mike, why did I take the CB out? I didn't. The CB was in the back seat when I got it. The antenna is trashed. So I know a little bit about CBs to know that, because I used to tune them way back in the day. I know that you don't hook up a good CB to a bad antenna or no antenna and then test it. So when I can find the funds and or a good replacement antenna, I'll put it back in. I actually like CBs. I got one in my RV. I've got one of my other vehicles. I don't even remember. I think my Suburban. It has a CB. I like them. And I know Jay from Irish Outlaw Garage has one, so when we're on the road, we could actually talk. Thank you, Mud Farmer. Mud Farmer, if you have a question... Oh, no, you're just saying thanks for reading out. Okay, well, someone made that suggestion, and here I am trying to do it. Because not everybody can not only read the questions, but then later when they're watching the video after the fact, a lot of people don't make the live, they don't always line up. So I'm going to try to read them as I go. All right. No new questions. Hopefully everything's streaming good now. I can't thank you guys enough for the donations. Um, it's it's absolutely appreciated. But if you go and get some merch, you get something back for that too. I'm not asking for you to buy it, but if you want it, you give me a little money, I'll give you a little bit of merch, and I'll usually throw in some extra stuff, free stickers, what have you. But yeah, I appreciate it all. Okay, I just saw need a K500 or Wilson 5000 CB antenna. So I'm trying to remember what I used to use, and that's pretty much what I put in everything. It may have been the K500. I don't remember. But oh, the RV has a CB, but it didn't work very well because the antenna on there has to reflect off metal surface, right? That's how it works. Well, with the roof the way it is on that RV, that antenna didn't work. So I had to save up and get a different antenna. But for the longest time, I had one in there and I couldn't get any reception. But in Alaska, I had one too. I could pick up Japanese fishermen on it. Permatex Formagasket 2. Never had a leak ever. Easy to clean off in the future. All right. I saw some of that on the shelf. I'll look into that. Country Boy Gas Garage. Yeah, it is a lot of hard work, but I'm doing it though. That's right. I just installed a CB home base radio, huge antenna. So you're that much closer to what do you call that ham radio? Like you're that close. You're committed, man. Mud Farmer, I will continue to read out. He said, yes, that is him. He's blind. I will continue to read out the questions with you specifically in mind. Cobra 21. Oh, that's what I had. Mech 73. I had a K40. That's what I had. I remember that. K40 was what I put on everything, but then it didn't work on the motorhome. So, what is my CB handle? Honestly, I've not really. I'd like back in the day. We're talking 20 years ago. It's ridiculous because it makes no sense now. But being a paramedic, everybody called me Doc. And so my CB handle back in the day was Doc B. Well, I'm not a doc of anything anymore. I'm just a guy wrenching. So I don't know. Maybe we'll come up with one. Yep, 2 twin whips. I looked at that possibly for the RV, but I ended up going a different route. Dragon Lord. So Big Mike says, what is your CB handle? His is Dragon Lord. Like I said, back in the day, it was Doc B. Country Boy Gas Garage suggests Car Doctor. Let's see, what have I lost here? Oh, no, nothing. I'm caught up. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, I have to be honest. The Buick's probably, unless a miracle happens in 2 days, the Buick probably won't be ready for a video by Friday. It could happen. But if it doesn't, I have to ask, would you guys be opposed to possibly seeing... See you, Jim. Take care, buddy. Would you guys be opposed to seeing the International Travelall in a part 2? And the reason why is just like the Harvester of Sorrow, I missed out on doing a few things I wanted to do to finish out that video. But I felt like I accomplished what I wanted to do when I set out to get the truck. But once I started driving the truck, I wanted to see it go to the next level. So I got to put some floors in it. I need that. I don't want to do a full paint job, but maybe some quickie touch-up paint. What do you call it? Short strand fiberglass patch, a little bit of sanding, fix what we can, right? Do the 50-footer, and then just maybe shoot a little bit of little something, little spritz to hide all the obvious stuff, and then fix the floors, like I said. And since we found the pull down screens on the windows, I'm thinking I need to take it on a camping trip. It's getting cooler out, but before it gets too cold, I think this thing needs to go camping. It is a great truck. I mean, rust aside, the floor from so the floors are soft, just just in front of the seats. There's still metal under the seat. There's still metal in the transmission hump. Same for the back, and then the entire back from the back seat to the back tailgate. That's all solid. So it's not that bad. Just the roof, the rockers, and the floorboards. Okay. Gunther says, IH part 2, yes, please. Okay, I'll do it. See you later, Country Boy Gas Garage. Thanks for everything. We will catch you next time. Rick Blanchett says, I like them all, like to see progress to where usable and everything works. I don't like restore videos because it's not realistic. It's true. Big Mike says, is the travel all four-wheel drive? It is not. I have run through a rash of two-wheel drives lately. So the travel all ended up being two-wheel drive. I assumed they were all four-wheel drive. It is not. The dually with the big tires on it, I assumed was four-wheel drive. And then I get there and I look underneath and it's not. That's fine. Everything around here is either paved or gravel. I have no problems. I would kind of like four-wheel drive if I'm launching a boat. Just gives you a little extra traction, but it'll be fine. Make sure the power to weight ratio is fine, and you know you're on the hill, and it should be okay. But I don't launch a lot of boats because you guys haven't seen that video yet. But once that, if I can't save the video, if I can't, if I can't pull it back out and use it, and we'll just pick up where we left off, and I'll just catch you guys up. But what I'm getting at is I don't need four-wheel drive all that often. I was trying to think, there was something. Oh, somebody had a Dodge Dakota drivetrain, four-wheel drive, with a V8 automatic, and it was a newer, fuel injected, whatever. But the body was not coming with the truck. Just the frame and the drivetrain, that's it. So as much as I'm not a body on frame kind of guy, I kind of feel like I could measure out the wheelbase and drop something on there, because right across the lake, there's a rock crawler heaven over there. It's called Disney, Oklahoma. And it is like Disneyland for adults. It is rock crawling. It's at the base of the dam. So lake is way up here. You're down here on the riverside, and it's cool. But I could build this Dodge Dakota into maybe a rock crawler or a mud truck or something, but then slap an older vehicle on top of it. I don't know. Would you guys watch something like that? It'd be a heck of a lot of work, but I'll use, shop crane and jacks and lift the body up, roll that under, put it on top, stick it all together with baling wire and duct tape, and go rock crawling. Rick Blanchett says, I like them all. Like to see progress where usable, everything works. He doesn't like the restore videos because not realistic for most people. That's true. And I'll be honest, as much as I'd love to have a nice car, I just want them to run and drive, and stuff that didn't work again. That's what I enjoy. I would love to take my 90 or my 89 dually, 90s era truck, and make all the stuff work like it did from the factory. And then if I don't like it, I can upgrade it, because there's lots of cheap parts out there, like you saw with the dash. No offense, but GM sucked at making dashes viewable at night. And somebody mentioned in the video that it's too bright. Well, there is a dimmer and it still works. You can dim it down. And that's fine. You don't want it completely reflecting all the time. It gets really tiring. But it definitely helps. Grant Melcher, good afternoon, he says. Yes, good afternoon as well. Mech 73's getting some ribs off the smoker. Dude, you need to share some ribs. Teach me some diesel. put a little gunpowder on them ribs, and we'll have a good time. Rick says that's a lot of work. Do you think you could make money in views? Honestly, I'm gonna put it out there. I don't make money that well off YouTube. I ended up hooking up with I guess it's called an ad agent, and not to give away all the secrets, because it's not a secret. You make money on YouTube by views. They watch the ads. However, if you watch YouTube, especially the big channels, and they do a 60-second ad and they say this video is sponsored by blah blah blah, and you listen to their ad for 60 seconds, that advertising company has paid them a set fee to put that 60 seconds in their video. That's how they make money. And merch. Dalton went full time because we have the same agent doing the ad thing. So if you haven't seen me doing ads and videos, it's because they want to see better views out of the videos. And I'm sorry, I'm doing my best. The views are climbing, but they're not where they want them to be. So they're not paying me. So I'm doing this out of pocket for now, except for merch. When you guys buy merch, every penny goes right back to me. It's not some third-party company. I'm getting 100% of that. I buy the shirts, I buy this, and then there's a local person here in the lake where I'm at, not in the lake, but at the lake where I'm at, that does the embroidery. She does this part and does not take a lot of money from me, and I've tried to pay her more and she won't take it. So she does a great job. Each one of them gets done by hand, and we do it all in-house, and then I pack it, ship it, mail it, all that to you from me. Okay. So the answer, Rick, is whether or not I could do it and get the views, or the money in the views is what he said. Maybe, but the question is, is more of, would you watch it? And if you would watch it, I would do it. Only because it would be fun. And I mean, I'd spend a day out rock crawling. It would be fun. And then maybe I could go to a few events and take this piece of garbage with me. I can't own all the cars, but I can own a few. All right. Gunther Von B says, I think Casey's Custom does a lot of those frame swap projects. I think he also has an ACE fuel injection system. Is he putting on that he is putting on one of his projects? Collab with Casey. So, Gunther, I can tell you that Casey's on the radar. I'm on Casey's radar, I guess, because he's a bigger channel. When he was trying to do the thing with Dalton and meet at the raceway, I gave him a lot of crap online, just being friendly. But I think he took a little offense to it at first. Later we talked, and he seemed to be better after the fact. But he mentioned the other day he needed help with an air ride from his dad, and I said, well, why didn't you call me? Like, literally, I'm only an hour or two away from him, not even 2 hours away from him. I would help. I can give up a day to come play with Air Ride Corvette. That's just fun. And I'm not doing it for the subs, but the Casey bump wouldn't hurt. That's a new crowd of people that maybe don't watch Dalton, that don't watch me, that don't watch Kevin, that don't watch Derek. There's circles, right? Everybody has their YouTube circle. And if you're in their circle and pop up in one of their videos or whatever, you get the bump, is what I call it. And then your subscribers grow, and maybe you do something that their favorite YouTube channel doesn't do. And I'm not going to mention any names, but some of them get big, and then they start doing big projects that are unrealistic. I do garbage. And actually, it's a great truck. But I take the cheap stuff nobody else wants, like the International, and I bring it back to life, make it run and drive. This would be a good truck for somebody if they were mechanically savvy and they didn't mind waiting a week for parts. My headlight switch took a week. Now, somebody mentioned it's a Mopar switch. Had I known that, I would just ordered one from Mopar. But an IH switch took a week to get. Anyway, it's a good truck. But I can't afford to do the big builds. Rick says, I am doing it correctly. Start small, stick to the increasing the vid, and have the most views. So I'm all about trying to do the vehicles I enjoy working on. I've never worked on an international. I've always wanted to, and it met and exceeded my goals. I made it run, drive, and stop. Those were the goals. I got to play with a 392. Never done that. Got to play with thermoquad. Never done that. Knew nothing about the fuel system in an IH. Still don't. But there's a fuel tank in the back, and it now runs to the front. It works. So I really like the Internationals. It is a simple vehicle, easy to work on. There's a lot of extra crap that we could very quickly take off of here and just make a clean, simple running truck. The AC compressor still works. I just haven't dove into that far enough to decide if I want to really go down that road. But it still works. It could, in theory, have cold AC too. It'd be fun to tow something with it because the shocks aren't completely wiped out. They're still they exist. They're in there and they're not collapsed. So we could, in theory, tow something lightweight and put it back into service. It's got trans cooler, oil cooler, condenser, radiator. It's got all the coolers. So it's set up for this. It even had cruise control, but the cable snapped. Let's see. Gunther Von B says, I met you and Jim at Dalton's race down here in Butler. That's right. Yep. All because Dalton and Casey were supposed to race each other. Good times. It was good times. I absolutely, that was a last minute call from Dalton. And the guy doesn't ask for help very often. But when he said, hey, I need people to video, I mean, you saw the video people he had. Kevin and Angus, we were there to shoot video. I was there to shoot video. He had Jess was there, JD was there. Everybody was basically there to shoot video for Dalton. But then a few other people jumped in and decided to race, which is how we ended up with Inevitable Jim. When he calls you the day before and says, hey, I need you to show up, you show up. And I'm glad I met you there. I'd like to get out and meet some more of you guys. XE Boy popped up in Dalton's video. Yeah, so Dalton's video, so Dalton and I have been friends before this whole endeavor. Like, I had a little channel, he had a growing channel. It came down to we were both going through some stuff, and he told me one day, hey, quit worrying about it, quit stressing over it. Come over to my place and help me work on this Rolled Runner. It was a god-awful car. Neat looking car, but god-awful. Worse than anything I have in my shop. Mine at least has potential. That thing was garbage. But we had a lot of fun. We got the car running. We set it on fire. Thankfully, that car's long gone. But that built that relationship even further than what it was. And he keeps calling me to come back, and I keep showing up. I mean, we get to play with cars, regardless of whether or not it's on video, regardless of whether or not I get a new sub. I get to play with cars with a guy who really loves to work on and play with cars. That's the magic there. It has nothing to do with videos. It has nothing to do with, no offense, it has nothing to do with you guys. We're just having fun with cars. You guys just get to join along with us when it comes out as a video. So I would love to do more of that stuff, more playing with cars. And yes, we need it on video too, but I want to get out and do more events. And slowly the events are trickling. Like somebody said, hey, go to the Hot Rod Garage meet. Okay, cool. Where's that? California. Not going. Not going back across the country. No offense, it's just not worth it to me. But I would go Tennessee, Missouri, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Illinois, Texas. All those are really close in my area to where it's reasonable to hop in the vehicle and go. I'd rather drive the vehicle than tow it. So if I remember, XC Boy is across the pond. So I have friends over there, Pedalbox on YouTube, and they came over for duct tape drags for the last 2 years, and they host guests occasionally. So if I get enough subscribers and views, I might take a trip over there, maybe sleep on their couch, and go do something fun on that side of the pond. And if that happens, we can have a little meetup somewhere. That'd be fun. Would you like to see me travel? I got my passport. Just gotta hop. I definitely want to go to Australia. There's some guys down there that I need to go hang out with. But okay, Rick Blanchett says, what I mean is, number one, enjoy yourself. I mean, I wake up every day and I commute 2 whole blocks. It's rough. Traffic is rough. You get a golf cart or a side-by-side in front of you, you just want to lay on the horn. It's like, I got to get to work. It's a whole 2 blocks. And then I get here to this. Honestly, it's a beautiful shop. It's kind of cluttered right now, but we're making it really nice. I think so. I'm going to put a TV up somewhere so that I have the ability to view, not my own videos, but view stuff on the big screen back here. But I really want Buff's Garage logo. Well, here, like this. I really want like this one. I love this one. This one's great. I do. But it's detailed and complicated. I made it that way on purpose. This one I designed simple so it could be stitched onto hats and stuff. I want something like this, like really big up on the wall. I think that would look cool. So if you know anybody that does that reasonably, I'd be willing to put a few bucks down to have something made. Put it right there on the wall. I think it'd be beautiful. I personally don't have a CNC machine, and my hand is not steady enough to use the grinder to cut, or the cutoff wheel to make that happen. But I don't even care. Like, I don't even care what it's made out of. I don't want just like I would take a vinyl, banner, but I really want a like big sign, metal or wood. I don't care. It needs to contrast with, this is old barn tin. We literally pulled it out of the ground out back here when he tore down the barn that was here. It's literally barn tin. It was creased. You can't see it. Sorry. I don't like this orientation on the camera. It was creased. He had folded it, and it was buried in the dirt. So I sat and dug it out of the dirt and then unfolded it, smashed her flat, and then we zipped it in over top of the insulation. So I'm going to finish it. I've got another barn down at a family's place that collapsed, and we're going to get the last few pieces. So behind the shell sign there, you can still see some insulation. We're going to finish that off in the barn tin. I think it'll look great, but that big blank spot right there, I think, needs to have a sign. So Gunther says metal or wood. I don't care. I would love to see something. You guys can hit me up on Facebook, Instagram, my email. If you know somebody or you're talented and want to do it, I'll throw some bucks in. Okay. Outfits is here. How's Russell doing? I forget. Do you still have my engine or Chad has it? You were bringing me a Pontiac. I think Chad has it at Square Body Stuff. And you guys don't hate me. I feel a little bit bad about it, but a family member says, hey, we were trying to build a race truck and we thought we bought a 6.0 LS. Turns out it's a 5.3. Do you want it? So I just got another 5.3 LS. It's sitting in the back of Harvester of Sorrow right now. Oh, and then I gave Richard Holdner a little jingle. He was on our podcast, the Pontiac Power Hour. And I said, hey, you've got a Truck Norris cam. He goes, no. That's not what it is. Copyright, branding. But he has a Truck Norris copy cam. And for right now, Richard Holdner is selling these for $179, including shipping, for a 5.3 LS. 4.8, 5.3, 6.0, whatever. It's a truck Norris cam from Richard Holdner for $179, including shipping. So I may or may not have made that happen today. So I have a 5.3 sitting out there. It's got like, I think he said 160, 180,000 miles on it. I don't remember, something like that. It's even got the stupid computer. Everything is there. Whatever. I'll put it in something. Russell at Outfits Garage, the square body stuff has my engine. Okay, so at some point, I'm going to call Butler up and say, hey guys, I got this Pontiac 400. Help me do something with it. I'm sure Butler would love to help me with it. Rick Blanchett says, come on kids, click the like button. Hey, I appreciate that. The like definitely helps, but as long as you're in here in the chat talking to me, telling me what you want to see, what you like, to me, that's even more valuable than the like button. To me, I know YouTube, whatever, but tell me what you guys want. Gunther Von B says it's in Columbia, Missouri, but one of the best custom laser engravers in the era, makes all kinds of signs. He's a veteran, Han Custom Laser Engraving. He's on the Facebooks. All right, I will go back, reread this chat later. Ooh, wait, watch this. Gunther, I will look that up later and maybe give him a shout. Mech 73. So looking for a small block, not an LS, correct? Mech 73, I was looking for my engine that I bought 2 years ago to put in my 63 Pontiac because everybody hated the LS swap in the Pontiac. So I said, well, let me buy a Pontiac engine. Well, I didn't want to buy a 389 because I didn't have one laying around. Couldn't find one easily. I got a phone call that says, hey, I just pulled this 400 out of a Trans Am. Are you interested? And he said it was running. I said, yes. Well, then by the time it gets to Russell at Outfits Garage and then to Chad, which then comes to me, the whole thing's disassembled. It's not even still together. So it was running before I took it all apart. Anyway, I gotta build it, and it's kind of like one of those things like Dalton just did with his Sky Goat. You go spending money on it. I would rather just have it running and throw it in and fix it up along the way, but I got it. I guess I need to do something with it. So the whole answers you make 7.3. I'm not looking for any engines. I would rather have an engine in a vehicle with transmission, with a drive shaft and rear end and tires and brakes and the whole vehicle. And it doesn't have to run. I just need it all in the vehicle, and then I will hopefully make it run and go from there. Big Mike says, do a big caddy. Well, I think I've got about, let's see, that's 20, 30, probably about 30, 40 feet. Definitely 35 feet of shop space here. So as long as the caddy's not bigger than 20 feet, we can make it fit. If we can make it fit in here, we can work on it. If you know a caddy that's not complete rust bucket, that has an engine and transmission still in it, I'll probably buy it. Because I got the Buick. If you guys watch my Instagram, Facebook, I got a Buick 55, beautiful car, sitting right outside. And as soon as the travel wall's out of here, Buick's coming. Probably today. And then I've got a little pickup. And I'm surprised that Puddin didn't get it first. But the guy that sold it to me said, ironically enough, Derek Bieri was at his place the week before I bought that little truck. And Derek passed on the truck. Mainly because Derek is like 6'4", something like that. He's super tall. Just hung out with him at duct tape, like literally right here. Nice guy, busier than anything. So promise me this, guys. I want you to blow up my YouTube. I want to get bigger, right? The channel, I want it to grow. I don't want to be so big, and I don't blame the guy. You know, you make hay when the sun shines, but that guy was worn out. His wife, wonderful lady, Jessica, is great. They're real people, regular real people, no jet setting. They get in their car and their truck and trailer and they go to these events just like the rest of us. he is worn out. He is trying to make something big, and I'm happy for him. I don't think I'm ready for that. I don't think I'm ready to be that big. Same with Dalton. Dalton had this vision, very similar, at some point. Uh, my buddy Square Body Chad, we just talked about him. He's got a vision as well as what he wants to see in the future, and I want it for all of them. And I want it too. I've got eventually Buff's Garage headquarters right on Route 66. I have a couple of places picked out. And once we grow, I'll get to that point. We'll put it there on Route 66. I would love that. But right now, let's just keep the projects going. Big Mike, I like Puddin' too. Everybody wanted to see Puddin' do the international. They wanted to see him either take it or collab. And I have messaged him in the past. I have sent him a couple Instagrams and Facebook messages. I am not trying to be that guy to hound the crap out of him. But what I found successful is you guys hound the crap out of him and say, you want to see us collab. I will drive. It's not far to his place because I'm already in Oklahoma. I will drive and go hang out with Puddin'. I'll just shoot. I will be behind the camera. I don't even need to be on the camera. But I want to make that connection. I met him during truck something or other when I drove the square body truck from Chad's place over. I met him there and didn't realize he was a big YouTuber. I was just dumb. I didn't know. And then later in the day, go from, standing there talking and BSing to he's got a line in front of his booth. And Chad and I, we had a little bit of a line. I had no idea he was a big YouTuber. I like it better that way. Anyway, if I ever get the desire to go freeze my tail off, I'll go hang out with Mortsky. I know he'll hang out with me. All right. All right. Rick Blanchett says nothing wrong with an LS platform, solid platform. LQ460 is the best, but they're all good. So I actually had I still have an LQ9, but it spun a cam bearing. So LQ9 is the high compression, high output 60 LS out of a Caddy. I have one. I own it. I tore it down to the block. I took it to the machine shop. We never settled on a price, and so I don't think he ever worked on it, and it's just sitting there. So I guess I need to either throw him some money to machine it or just go get it. I don't know. Big Mike wants to see the Buick. I want to see it running and driving personally. So on the Buick, I called ahead to me, a Buick expert. Dallas runs the American Hot Rod Association. He is the owner / president / do everything guy for AHRA. He's also a Buick guy and great guy. I mean, personally, just great guy. I could call him right now and whatever I need, he's there. And you need those kind of people in your life. But I know he's a Buick guy. So I sent him a snap of it and told him what year it was. That's all I did. He told me what engine it was, what problems I'm going to have, more than I will ever remember. So I, of course, jotted it all down so that when I start to play with it, I have to do this first before I ever hook it up. I stupidly hooked a battery up to the International, turned it over, made it start, didn't put any other thought into it than that. What you saw was what I did. He says, don't do that to the Buick. So the Buick is supposedly rebuilt. So Jay from Irish Outlaw Garage put a little fear in me. He goes, what if they put a new cam in it? So not only do I got to get it running, but possibly breaking a cam. I don't know. I know it's rebuilt. I'm hoping they rebuilt it with the cam that was in it. But I got to open the trunk. I have looked in it, but I haven't really dug through it. And there's a lot of parts in the trunk, and that might tell us what we need to do. Yes, Big Mike says loves Puddin' Fad Shop. I actually like Puddin'. But again, nothing against Puddin'. You start to get those little higher dollar builds, it's a little less realistic for the rest of us. If I told you today to go out on Marketplace and find me a vehicle, $1,000 or less, must have a title. I want it to have an engine, transmission, whether they run or not. They have to be in it. I'll bet you guys could send me, because you have in the past, lots of vehicles. No offense, but when you guys send me stuff that's $3,500, $4,000, I'm not saying it's not worth it. when you're trying to put out a new video every week with a different vehicle, $1,000 a pop, that's within a realistic opportunity. When you send me a $3,500, $4,000 vehicle, remember I'm not keeping all of these. And if there's no profit to turn around and at least sell it for what I got in it, can I really afford to do that? And the answer is no. So Mech73 says, are you looking for any more projects? The answer is yes. Cheap, within reason, but I really need it to have a title, only because I need to be able to show ownership, but more than a bill of sale. And then at the end of the year, when the tax guy comes knocking, I can be like, oh, look, deduct, 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 deduct. And there needs to be some paper trail. And bill of sales are fine, but in Oklahoma, it's $250 minimum to have the investigation done to then get a title. So for me, if it's $1,000 international travel all and it doesn't have a title, then I'm going to drop the price $250 and offer that $750 because that's what it costs to get a title. And guys aren't receptive to that. But I'm looking at it as a business person. They're looking at it as trying to make as much as they can. Big Mike says it would be awesome to see me and Puddin together. Well, he is a very, what's the word I want to use? He has a certain circle, and he keeps this circle very close. I respect that. I don't want to. I like to know as many people as possible, but I don't need to be out there knowing everybody. He has a job to do. He's got a family to take care of. He wants to go work on his stuff. He doesn't want people coming on his property and bothering him and touching his cars when he's not there. I mean, I don't like it either. You want to come by, call me up, hit me up on a message, whatever. Come by. Come play. I'll let you wrench in my garage. I'll take you for rides in the 18 van and buy it and then make it gone. But all that. If he wants to include me in a circle, I would gladly go hang out. Let's see. Drive to North Dakota? Depends. What am I doing it for? Is there a vehicle and or event that I need to go to there? Because I've been asked, are you going to SEMA? Why? Why would I go to SEMA? I just got back from Tucson, and that was fun. Nothing against SEMA, but why would I take an overpriced, it's basically a ridiculous car show with cars most of the time that don't even run, don't have drive shafts, don't have anything, just sitting there out on display, and you're walking around bumping into people. I would rather bump into them in the pits at a race or next to a bonfire or in a garage. I don't think SEMA's my crowd. I don't think PRI is my crowd, but that's just me. All right, I'm missing one. Okay, here we go. Outfits Garage says, I'm trying to take my channel to the second level, getting monetized, but not sure I want to get as big as Vice Grip. Well, the thing with Vice Grip is the channel isn't what he couldn't control. It's when he signed on the dotted line with a certain bigger company. That's when you go from I own what I do to now they own me. And that was evident. I am just prophesizing here. But with Hoonigan going away, well, whether or not they're going away or not, they went bankrupt. There's a few big motor companies that have a motor trend trending this way. This is why you see the David Freiberger is now 100% David Freiberger. He still does roadkill, but I'm seeing more and more of these bigger social media folks collaborating. Dirthead Dave, great guy, by the way. Derek Bieri, David Freiberger, Tony Angelo. They're all kind of working together right now to create something. And I almost wonder if they're going to branch off and start their own thing outside of Peterson / Motor Trend. It's a prophesizing thing. I could be wrong. Grant Melcher, welcome to the chat, buddy. Mortsky's great. I like Mortsky. He's a good dude. He's real. He's a pretty real dude. Renegade's Garage, hello, welcome to the chat. Big Mike says, what about Vice Grip or Junkyard? Those are invite only. Would I go hang out with Derek? Hell yes. I grew up on a farm doing farm stuff. Technically, Grandpa had cows, horses, that kind of thing. So ranch, we called it a farm, but ranch. So I can do all of that stuff. I can go cut hay. I could go help him mow his pasture. And I would love to go wrench on a car. Do I need to get on Derek's channel? No. I mean, when I was at Duct Tape, they asked if I would be willing to help get his car sorted out because it was blowing oil out of every seal. So while he was in a 2-hour marathon autograph signing session, myself and Cody from JCS Projects, we were trying to get Derek's car to stop blowing oil out of every orifice. So they know who I am. It's just one of those, I just want to go hang out. I don't need to be in the video. But Kevin, I've talked to Angus. I've talked to Kevin. Again, it's kind of invite only. So if they decide to invite me, I'll make myself available. Mech73 says, have you sold the A-Team van yet? Do you want it? It's literally sitting right outside the doors. I want to do one more fluid and filter change just so I'm at peace of mind. Transmission is fine right now. Everything looks fine. It's not acting up. But no, I still own it, and it could be yours. I literally took the title with me to Tucson in case I sold it while I was there or anywhere along the way. Grant Melcher says, drive to Mortsky's. Well, if Mortsky says so, I can make it happen. Gunther Von B says, Freiberger, Finnegan, Tony. Yeah. Yep. I did. Yeah. I mentioned those names. I've noticed they're all collaborating socially on the web, in the YouTubes, in the Facebooks and all. There's something happening, something in the background happening. I don't know what it is yet. Something's happening. Cousin Mike from Landon Custom Classics said, howdy. Welcome, Cousin Mike. He's got a great channel, too. He's got some cool projects, so go check him out. The 70s channel, everyone wants it. Most people know that they really, really shouldn't buy it. I'm going to assume you're talking about, let's say you're talking about Motor Trend and not the A-Team van, because everyone needs an A-Team van. If you even kind of like attention at every single place you go, it's the A-Team van. Even if they don't know the A-Team, they like the van. It's cool looking. It's black and silver and red, and it's got the dark windows and the big wheels and tires and spoiler on there. I'm telling you, every single place I go, somebody says something. I went out just to check the mail the other day. A-Team van was at the shop property, not the house property. And a dude walks up and he says, hey, aren't you the guy with the A-Team van? I said, among others, but yes, I have it. He goes, that's a really cool van. I said, you want to buy it? And he just kind of laughs. And I said, I'm serious. It's for sale. It's basically a panel van, but like if it had a full interior, it'd be a whole different deal. But people know the van. They may not know you, but they'll know the van. Let's see. Big Mike says, I love how down to earth you are. That's why I watch you. Big Mike, I'm just like all y'all. It's, to me, this is fun. I enjoy doing this stuff, and it went to where I have a job that it's not that I didn't like my other job. It's after that many years, it loses its luster. Driving fast, going lights and sirens was cool back in the day. Nobody cares anymore. Nobody gets out of the way. Half the time they're either on their phone or their vehicles are sealed up tight to where they can't hear me anyway. And the vehicles are all governed now, so the ambulances didn't go fast. It just lost its luster. I'd rather get in a vehicle and go down a quarter mile. Or do road racing, rally racing, burnout contests. That's fun. building something that then does that stuff, then breaks, and then you repeat the process. You build it, you race it, you break it, you repeat. That's what I enjoy doing. My cousin Mike says maybe I'll retire and just YouTube. Man, if you can, do it. I mean, I believe you live pretty simply. Like this is what I'm doing. I don't have a lot of overhead, and that's the key. Is if most of your bills are pretty much paid for, you can start out with very little and work your way up. That 70s channel said just driving a 1971 Dodge Sublime Green Prius. Wait, what? He says, I've been pulled over for driving while green. I really don't need any additional attention. I'm already bringing it on myself. Okay. I know you drive a Prius. Big Mike, I got to go, brother. All right. We will see you later. Thank you for everything. Grant Melcher, I agree with Big Mike. Oh, thanks, Grant. Appreciate that. Cousin Mike says, I got a 63 Studebaker Lark Wagon Air. That's a cool car. Go check out Cousin Mike. He's got some interesting stuff. Rick Blanchett says, what is a Dodge Prius? He is saying his Prius is painted sublime green. Yes. And the 70s channel says, discount cab borrowed the color from Dodge, and one of my Priuses is painted that color. I've seen it. If you watch my video on Duct Tape Drags, and maybe Jay from Irish Outlaw Garage, but Jay is in the ambulance pulling up, trying to get into the Battle of the Beaters, and right behind is that 70s channel. He's got his Prius right in behind it. That makes more sense. I was a little confused too, Rick. I didn't understand, but I know he drives a Prius, so it makes more sense. All right, we've been going over an hour now, and I got a few people drop off. That's fine, but the whole point of this video was I was going to be working in the shop, and you guys were going to be watching me work and asking questions, and we kind of got carried away. But I'll give you probably another 5 minutes. Just keep on asking me whatever you want to ask or what you guys want to see next. The Buick is coming. Like I said, it probably won't be Friday, but if it is, you'll be as surprised as I am when it comes out. Otherwise, the International Travel All's got a little bit more work to do, and I've got another truck I got to go pick up in OKC. Harvester of Sorrow is going to probably get around 3 at some point because I got a lot more work to do to it. Rick says the Prius gets a lot of flack, but I think it's one of the best cars. I've worked on one time. Well, no, I'll rephrase that. I worked on one vehicle, one Prius, 4 times, doing one task. And I gotta say, I'm not a fan. It was electrical work. The car needed help. It was in Alaska. I was the only guy around that was even offered to work on it. They couldn't drive it to the city to get it worked on, nor could they really afford it. That's why they had a Prius. They wanted a cheap operating car. I worked on it 4 times just to do something very simple, and not a fan. I get it. They serve a purpose. If you're trying to be on a budget, those cars will pretty much run forever. They may run with lots of check engine lights and everything else going, but they'll run, and they'll do it very inexpensively. They're a purpose made, cheap to operate. They keep on going. My mom loves her Toyota Tacoma. I'm not a Toyota fan personally. I don't care. I'm not going to probably own one. But she loves hers, and that thing, she runs the hell out of it, and it just keeps going. Rick Blanchett, never buy a Prius above the Continental. Well, technically, Alaska's the same continent. I think you mean the contiguous 48. They hate the cold. Well, this one, it wasn't the cold it was the issue. It was the severe lack of maintenance that the person did. And when you combine that with Everything else, the car just needed a little more love than I was willing to give it. I did help them out. I got their situation fixed, but I said, for anything else, you're going to have to finally go to town. And in Alaska, going to town meant a 6-hour one-way drive, so 12-hour round trip to go to town. Anyway, Grant Melcher says 63 Falcon gets great mileage. I'm sure my 63 Pontiac does too, since it's got a 5.3 in it. Probably gets 22 to 25 miles per gallon. That ain't bad for a 20-foot car. But people hate the LS, right? Oh well. You know, the Harvester of Sorrow Dooley, being a big block, wasn't that bad. Like, it definitely sucks fuel, but it wasn't that bad. And the A-Team van, as big as a van that is, it's kind of gutless. Like, it's a 22nd quarter mile van. But you know, it got pretty good fuel mileage. I never did actually sit and figure it up, but it was like 18, 19, somewhere in that range for a 350 in a full-size van. Ain't bad. Cousin Mike says my 68 Thunderbird gets about as many miles as gallons. Well, you know, as long as you have enough to get to your destination, that's all that matters. That 70s channel says I have 4. One at 507,000, one at 435,000. The duct tape drag one had 388,000, and another is unknown. I think you're talking about Priuses. Wow, you have cornered the market on Priuses. So if anybody needs to know anything about a Prius, he probably knows more than anyone ever needs to know. What blew my mind was I was trying to fix something simple on that Prius, and it didn't have a turn signal. Like, there's no blinker light. So I take the light apart to fix it, and it's a push-in style dash light bulb like would be in my dually truck out there. That's what it was. It was just a simple 194 or 168. I don't remember what it was. Just a simple incandescent push-in bulb. I mean, keep it simple, I guess. All right. Well, I still got a few people in here, and thank you to everybody who threw some money into the chat. I appreciate that. Make sure to hit up buffsgarage.com if you need some merch. I will personally package it and ship it out to you. And all of that will go to the next project, maybe even a supercharger. I mean, I'll call them up this week and see what they're talking about. I'm also working with Aces Fuel Injection to maybe put fuel injection on something. It won't be the International, it won't be the Buick, but something will have fuel injection from Aces. We'll see where that goes. But thank you, all of you. Mech73, thank you. I agree, the shop is looking better. Gunther, thanks for everything up in Canada. Yeah, enjoy the cold while you're there. Rick, you are awesome. Appreciate all your support. Renegades, we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you, guys. And make sure to hit the like. Throw a comment down below if you can. And, you know, share the channel out. The more subs, the better. Appreciate it. Thank you, Grant. See you guys later.